So, here's what's going on with Rachel Zegler's latest controversy. The actress who stirred up backlash over her Snow White comments is now set to play Eva Peron in Jamie Lloyd's upcoming Evita Revival at the London Palladium. The show is scheduled to run from June to early September 2025, but drama is already brewing before the first performance. If you missed the Snow White saga, Zegler basically spent the entire press tour criticizing the original Disney classic. She called the princess a stalker, dismissed the whole love at first sight theme, and acted like she was too above the fairy tale that so many people grew up loving. Unsurprisingly, the internet didn't respond well. Her interview clips went viral, but for all the wrong reasons. People weren't cheering her on. They were mocking her. TikTok was flooded with sarcastic reactions and eye-roll-filled voiceovers. Instead of becoming a Disney darling, she turned into the unexpected villain of her own story. The Snow White remake faced delay after delay, with whispers that Disney was scrambling to fix the mess. What was supposed to be a magical Disney comeback ended up as a full-blown PR disaster. The film finally dropped, reportedly costing somewhere between $170 million and $300 million, but bombed at the box office. It ended up with the lowest opening of any Disney live-action remake, pulling in under $50 million. Both critics and audiences were unimpressed. Some said the movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Others slammed the decision to replace the seven dwarfs with magical creatures, a move seen by many as erasing representation, not improving it. Right now, the film holds a rough 2 out of 10 rating on IMDb, with reviews calling it dull, terrible, and stuffed with musical numbers that just didn't land. Given all that, you'd think Rachel Zegler would take a breather, maybe choose a lower-key project to rebuild her reputation. But no. Instead, she landed one of the most iconic roles in musical theater, Eva Peron in Evita. As soon as Jamie Lloyd announced her casting, social media blew up again. A few fans called the move bold and exciting, but the majority were either confused or furious. Hardcore theater fans were especially outraged. Evita isn't just any musical. It's a demanding role that takes real emotional depth, discipline, and stage presence. Critics are questioning whether Zegler even respects the material, or if she's going to try and reimagine this classic too. Some insiders are wondering if Lloyd cast her for her talent, or just to stir up buzz. And it's not just online noise. The backlash is having real consequences. Early reports say ticket sales are tanking. Entire rows are still available just weeks from opening night. Premium weekend seats and VIP boxes still unsold. For a show at the legendary London Palladium, that's a serious red flag. Theater blogs are already calling it the Zegler effect. It's not the music, not the theater, not the director. It's her. People just don't trust her to deliver. Behind the scenes, sources say producers are already tossing around ideas like early discounts and promo codes to try and salvage sales, which is rare for a production of this scale. And now, things are reportedly getting worse backstage. Rumors are flying about tension between Zegler and director Jamie Lloyd. Word is, she's been showing up late, openly challenging Lloyd's direction, and even walking off after disagreements during rehearsals. What was meant to be a collaborative process is now, reportedly, full of friction. Some cast members are allegedly siding with Lloyd, saying Zegler hogs stage time, ignores the script during rehearsals, and won't harmonize unless she's the center of attention. It all supposedly came to a head last week, when Lloyd held a private meeting with producers and legal teams. Insiders say her contract is now under review, and they're quietly lining up a replacement in case she needs to be pulled before opening night. The timing couldn't be worse. This role in Evita was supposed to be Zegler's comeback, her chance to prove she had the talent to shine on a prestigious stage after the Snow White debacle. But now, it's shaping up to be another PR meltdown. Lloyd, who once praised her passion, is reportedly calling her a liability. What's wild is that despite all this, the backlash, the criticism, the tension, Rachel Zegler keeps landing big roles. She's burned bridges with Disney fans, stirred up controversy, and now might be clashing with one of the theater world's most respected directors. And yet, she keeps getting cast, while others in her position might have already faded from the spotlight. Still, somehow, Rachel Zegler keeps landing big roles. It's raised the question, does she have real staying power, or is she just failing upward, as some critics suggest? There's a clear gap between what industry insiders see in her and how the public feels. While she keeps getting pushed into the spotlight, audiences seem increasingly over the drama she brings with her. Even her social media has shifted. Where she once came off as boldly confident, now there's a tone of over-explaining everything. Her posts are packed with long captions detailing her creative process and how much playing Evita Rehearsal means to her. But many fans aren't buying it. Instead of seeing a passionate artist, they see someone trying too hard to repair a broken image. The Snow White fallout went deeper than her comments about the prince or mocking love at first sight. One major point of backlash was the handling of the seven dwarfs. Instead of staying true to the original, the film featured just one token dwarf among a group of magical creatures. Critics and activists saw this not as progress, but as erasure. One pointed out that by doing this, Disney didn't actually move forward. They just deleted the representation of an entire disability group. And that wasn't the only problem. The movie was also slammed for its overt political messaging. People said it leaned too heavily into racial, gender, and class politics. What once was a simple fairy tale about true love now felt like a lecture, according to some reviewers. As for Zegler, when she got the role of Evita Rehearsal, many thought she'd show some humility after the Snow White backlash. Instead, she released what people described as a smug statement, paired with a long social media post claiming the role had inspired her since she was a kid. It came off as tone-deaf, especially to theater fans who questioned if she was even qualified to play such an iconic character. When Jamie Lloyd first announced his Evita revival, there was genuine excitement. He's known for bold, emotionally raw reimaginings of classic shows. A stripped-down, modern version of Evita sounded like a fresh take. But once Zegler was cast, the whole vibe shifted. What was supposed to be an edgy, powerful retelling has now turned into a PR disaster. Reports from behind the scenes paint a troubling picture. Rehearsals that were meant to be collaborative have turned tense. Zegler allegedly ignores direction, argues over staging, and the creative process has reportedly turned into a power struggle. It's an ironic twist. This was supposed to be Jamie Lloyd's vision, his comeback, his bold redefinition of Evita for a new era. Instead, the story is all about celebrity controversy and internal conflict. Some in the theater world feel bad for Lloyd. Directing a major production is hard enough without having to manage a difficult lead actress, but others are asking if this is on him. Did he really not know how toxic Zegler's public image had become? Or did he cast her because of it, hoping the controversy would draw attention? Now it's affecting everything. Even casual theater goers are hesitating. Some don't want to spend money on tickets when they're not even sure Zegler will be performing. Every new rumor about her possibly being replaced just adds to the uncertainty. According to one insider, this show was supposed to be the hit of the season. Now we're just hoping to break even. As all this unfolds, one big question remains. What happens to Rachel Zegler's career from here? If she gets fired from Evita, will Hollywood finally stop handing her lead roles? Or will she somehow land yet another high-profile gig? And if she stays, can she deliver a performance strong enough to win over the critics? This role was meant to be her big redemption moment, but instead, it's starting to look like more of the same drama. The entertainment industry may thrive on controversy, but even that has its limits. At some point, casting decisions need to be backed by real talent and professionalism. For Zegler, this Evita role might be the turning point. Either she proves everyone wrong and delivers something truly impressive, or this could be remembered as yet another scandal in a career that's so far been more defined by backlash than by success. What's most confusing in all of this is how someone who's sparked so much public criticism keeps landing dream roles. In Hollywood, it's often a balancing act between talent and how marketable you are. And no matter how negative the press gets, Zegler still trends. She still drives headlines and gets engagement online. Some industry watchers think that in today's world, even bad publicity equals visibility. Invisibility often gets mistaken for star power. When Jamie Lloyd first laid out his vision for Evita, he said he wanted it to speak to a new generation. Casting someone like Zegler made sense on paper. She's young, she's in the public eye, and she could bring in an audience that doesn't normally watch musical theater. But instead of growing the fan base, it looks like the move alienated loyal theater-goers and failed to attract new ones. The ultimate irony? In Snow White, Zegler was framed as someone trying to break outdated narratives. But if reports from rehearsals are to be believed, her demanding spotlight, refusing to harmonize, clashing with castmates, she's embodying the exact diva stereotype modern productions are trying to leave behind. It all adds up to a stark contradiction between Rachel Zegler's public persona as a progressive force in entertainment and the behind-the-scenes accounts from insiders. And with opening night fast approaching in June 2025, time is running out to fix what's quickly spiraling into a reputational and logistical disaster. Replacing a lead at this stage? Not impossible, but certainly expensive and chaotic. Productions of this scale typically lock in leads months in advance. To bring in someone new now would mean reblocking, restaging, and likely rewriting the entire rehearsal calendar. But keeping Zegler in the role comes with its own risks: empty seats, negative press, and a team reportedly on edge. Some seasoned theater professionals have noted that behind-the-scenes drama is nothing new. Broadway and the West End have survived last-minute replacements, clashing egos, and offstage meltdowns before. But what's different now is the sheer volume of public attention. In an age where every whisper leaks onto TikTok or Twitter within hours, there's no room for quiet course correction. Producers now face a high-stakes gamble: absorb the cost of a casting shakeup, or stick with Zegler and risk the show being defined by controversy instead of craft. And what started as a casting announcement has become something much larger: a conversation about accountability in entertainment, about the growing disconnect between Hollywood decision-makers and audience sentiment, and about whether controversy eventually catches up to even the most insulated talents. To some observers, this whole situation feels like a case study in what happens when industry hype ignores red flags. Despite backlash after Snow White, Zegler kept getting handed high-profile projects. Critics of the system say this is a pattern, where certain rising stars are propped up regardless of public response. Her defenders argue she's facing disproportionate scrutiny. They claim her Snow White comments were taken out of context, and that social media has amplified the negativity to a point of absurdity. But even her most vocal supporters are struggling to explain away the troubling reports from Evita Rehearsals. The London theater scene, typically known for its discretion, has been unusually vocal. Veteran performers have privately, and in some cases publicly, voiced concern that this isn't just about one actress. It's about protecting the legacy of a show like Evita, which holds a revered place in musical theater history. For Jamie Lloyd, the stakes are personal and professional. Known for his bold reinterpretations of classic material, he's now facing a dilemma that could define his career: stand by his lead despite the growing storm, or make a dramatic change and risk admitting he miscast one of the most iconic roles in musical theater. Theater critics are already divided. Some think lowered expectations could work in the production's favor. If Zegler simply turns in a decent performance, it could be spun as a comeback story. But others say the damage is already done. The narrative has hardened, and no amount of stage magic can undo months of bad headlines. One thing's for sure: opening night at the London Palladium will be one of the most closely watched theatrical events in years. Critics, fans, and industry insiders won't just be watching Evita. They'll be judging every glance, every note, every line through the lens of controversy. But the bigger questions remain. How much controversy is too much for a star to carry? Does talent still matter when PR becomes the main performance? And at what point does a performer's offstage drama permanently eclipse their work? As the curtain rises in June, one thing is clear: whether Rachel Zegler appears as Evita Rehearsal or not, this saga has already written itself into modern entertainment lore. A cautionary tale about ambition, accountability, and the increasingly blurry line between art and image.